Okay, get this. What if you could close deals 31% faster? I mean, really. Well, today, we're going to unpack exactly how America's #1 mortgage lender, UWM, pulled it off. And spoiler alert, they didn't just buy some off-the-shelf AI. Nope, they built a specialized AI workforce that completely changed the game for them. Let's dig in.
And really, it all kicks off with this promise right here. This quote from UWM's SVP. It's not just some nice corporate speak. It's the mission statement, the driving force behind this whole thing. A virtual assistant that never sleeps. That's a pretty bold claim. So how on earth do they actually make it happen?
So this is the big question, right? How did they manage to get a 31% speed boost? This wasn't about just adding a little chatbot to their website. This was a ground-up re-engineering of their entire process, and it's fascinating. So let's break it down.
To really get the solution, you've got to understand the problem first. See, UWM was growing like crazy, just exploding. But all that success, it came with some serious growing pains. We're talking about critical points of friction that were grinding everything to a halt.
And let's just be crystal clear about the kind of scale we're talking about here. $139 billion in a single year. That is a massive, massive volume of business. It created this pressure cooker environment where even the tiniest little hiccup could turn into a gigantic problem.
So all that pressure, it basically exposed 3 huge cracks in their system. First up, you had lead overload. Just too many potential customers calling in for the loan officers to keep up with. Money was literally being left on the table. Then there was document drag, that endless, painful process of chasing people for paperwork. And finally, status questions. This was brokers just constantly asking, hey, where's my loan at? Which ate up hours and hours of time.
Okay, so to release all that pressure, UWM turned to an AI platform called Raia. And this is the key part, they didn't just plug in a new tool and hope for the best. They strategically built and deployed a full AI workforce, an entire team designed specifically to take apart those bottlenecks, piece by piece. So why Raia? Well, it was a perfect match for a few big reasons. For one, it was omnichannel, so it could talk to customers wherever they were. Chat, text, email, you name it. It was also a super fast learner. It chewed through over 20,000 pages of dense mortgage guidelines in just a few hours. Wow. They also used a human co-pilot to double-check its work and get it to 95% accuracy before it ever talked to a customer. And maybe most importantly, it connected right into their existing systems. No massive, year-long IT project needed. All right, so let's meet the AI team. This is where it gets really cool. UWM's brilliant move wasn't to use one general do-everything AI. Instead, they created a team of 3 specialized digital assistants. It's this concept called an agentic workforce, and each agent had one very specific job to do.
And this table just lays out their strategy so perfectly. You had the sales qual agent. Its job was to crush that lead overload problem. Then the loan officer assistant agent, it completely fixed the document drag. And finally, the pipeline status agent handled all those constant status questions. See? Each agent was a specialist, perfectly designed to solve one of those core bottlenecks we talked about. Genius.
Okay, now for the part I know you've been waiting for. The results. And honestly, they're nothing short of a revolution. Let's just look at the numbers. This is after only 6 months of having the AI workforce on the job. Just look at this. Before AI, a potential homebuyer might wait 3 to 5 hours for someone to get back to them. And that's only if they called during business hours. Afterwards, less than 90 seconds. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is an absolute game changer for converting sales and just making people happy. And that speed carried through the entire process. The time it took to go from application to actually closing the loan, it dropped from 32 days all the way down to 22. That's 10 fewer days of stress and waiting for both the broker and the borrower. A 31% improvement. That's massive. The AI workforce handled a jaw-dropping 85,000 conversations with borrowers. But the really key thing here is that 62% of those, the majority, were completely handled and resolved by the AI alone. No human needed. The other 38%, they were perfectly pre-qualified and then handed off to a loan officer like a gift, making their job way faster and easier. So what does all that speed actually add up to? More business. Simple as that. UWM saw their win rate, the number of leads that turned into actual business, jump by 18 percentage points. That is a direct line from engaging leads instantly to winning more deals. It's proof that it's not just about being faster, it's about being fundamentally better. And of course, you knew we had to talk about the money. All of this efficiency meant UWM didn't have to go out and hire 10 more people just to keep up with the volume. That saved the company almost $1 million a year. I mean, that's a pretty incredible return on your investment right there. But here's the real kicker. A lot of us think that when you add automation, customer service has to suffer, right? Not here. In fact, it was the exact opposite. Borrower satisfaction actually went up. It went from a respectable 4 out of 5 to an excellent 4.6. So let that sink in. They got faster, they got cheaper, and they made their customers happier in the process. So, okay, this is an amazing story, but what can we actually learn from it? Well, UWM's journey gives us a really clear blueprint for how to do AI the right way. So what's the playbook? It's really 3 key things. First, go after the biggest pain point first. For UWM, that was responding to leads. Solving that gave them the quickest and biggest win right out of the gate. Second, you have to build for agility. They use this feature called packs, which let them update the AI's brain just by dropping in a new document. No complex coding needed. And third, and this is so important, always maintain the human touch. The AI is an assistant, not a wall. Customers always had an easy escape hatch to talk to a real person. And if you remember just one concept from this whole thing, please let it be this one: the agentic workforce. It's the strategy we've been talking about. It's not about finding one giant, all-powerful AI. It's about building a team of specialized AIs, where each one has a clear job and they all work together just like a human team. This, right here, is the future of automation. So the bottom line is pretty simple. UWM didn't just buy a piece of software. They built the ultimate mortgage assistant, one that works 24/7 at lightning speed, qualifying leads, chasing down documents, and answering questions, all while saving a ton of money and making their customers genuinely happy. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought to take with you. Think about your own world, your own daily grind at work. What are your bottlenecks? What's the friction that slows everything down? And just imagine for a second, how could a specialized AI assistant step in and get rid of it for good?